Magandang araw mga bata! Ako si Ma'am Regine, ang teacher mo sa math. Today we will be learning about real numbers. This is a lesson under Grade 7 Mathematics, Quarter 1, Lesson 7. Kaya tara na, and let's do the math. Real numbers comprise of any number used in everyday life. It is a compilation of all types of numbers. This is the Venn diagram of the real numbers system. Kung sa science, ang solar system ay binubuo ng mga planeta, mga buwan, mga bituin at iba pang mga heavenly bodies, ang real number system naman ay binubuo ng iba't ibang uri ng mga real numbers. At itong mga ito ang mga real numbers. Ito ay isa-isahin nating i-discuss ngayon. At ang Venn diagram na ito ng real numbers ang nagpapakita ng relationship ng kada real number sa isa't isa. And for real numbers, we start from natural numbers. These are the subsets of real numbers. First, we have the natural numbers that are also called as counting numbers. These are the numbers that we use in counting. Kaya siya counting numbers. Ito yung una nating natutunan ng mga numbers nung tayo ay nagbibilang, nung tayo mga bata pa. Pag tayo ay nagbibilang, lagi tayong nagsisimula kay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at marami pang iba. Itong ellipsis na ito ay nagsisignify na ang set na ito ay hindi lang natatapos sa 5, ito ay may kadugtong pa. Ngunit, ang counting numbers ay laging nag-uumpisa kay 1. The set is also known as the set of positive whole numbers and does not include 0. Kaya naman ang natural numbers ay laging tandaan na ito ay counting numbers. Pag tayo ay nagbibilang, lagi tayo nag-uumpisa kay 1, hindi natin sinasama si 0 at lahat ng ito ay positive. This is the symbol for natural numbers. The symbol is letter N, capital letter N. The smallest natural number is 1. Ito na yung pinakamaliit na natural or counting number 1 dahil sa 1 tayo nagsisimulang magbilang. And the largest natural number is unknown, because the set of natural numbers continue indefinitely. Tulad nga nitong nasabi ko kanina, meron tayong ellipsis after 5. It means that counting numbers doesn't end with 5. Tuloy-tuloy ito. At hindi natin alam kung kailan ito matatapos. Kaya, ang largest natural number ay hindi natin masasabi kung ano dahil the list goes on indefinitely. Let's go back to the Venn diagram of real numbers. Dahil alam na natin kung ano ang natural numbers, these are some of the examples. We always start counting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Marami pang ibang natural numbers. Always remember that they are always positive and we start with 1. After natural numbers, we have whole numbers. The second subset of real numbers are the whole numbers. They are also known as the set of positive whole numbers, including 0. This is the summary of whole numbers. Whole numbers includes all natural numbers and 0. Alam natin kanina na ang natural numbers ay lahat ng mga positive numbers na ginagamit natin sa pagbibilang starting from 1. Ngayon, idagdag natin yung natural numbers sa 0. Simulan natin ang pagbibilang kay 0, whole numbers na ito. Therefore, the smallest whole number is 0. And the largest whole number is unknown because the set of whole numbers continues indefinitely. Hindi ito natatapos lang kay 5. Napakaraming mga positive numbers and it continues indefinitely. Going back to the Venn diagram of real numbers, we have already learned about whole numbers. Whole numbers includes all natural numbers like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on, and 0. Kaya yung natural numbers, yung kanyang Venn diagram ay nasa loob ng whole numbers dahil lahat ng natural numbers ay parte ng whole numbers plus 0. Next subset of real numbers are integers. Integers are also known as the set of positive whole numbers and their opposites, including 0. We have already discussed integers during our lesson for absolute values in integers on lesson 3. We know that integers are made up of numbers that are either positive or negative plus the 0. And this is the summary of integers. Kung kanina, lahat ng natural numbers at 0 ay kabahagi ni whole numbers, integers includes all whole numbers that are positive including 0. Natural numbers ay lahat positive and 0. And aside from the whole numbers that are positive and 0, it also includes their opposites, which are the negative numbers. All numbers greater than 0 are positive integers. Any number, basta mas malaki siya kay 0, positive siya. While every number smaller than 0 is a negative integer. 0 lagi yung ating gitna. The largest negative integer is negative 1, and the smallest negative integer is unknown because integers continues indefinitely. Magtataka tayo bakit for integers, ang pinakamalaki ay si negative 1. Bakit hindi si negative 5? Mas malaki ba si negative 1 kaysa kay negative 5? The answer is yes. Dahil negative 1 ang pinaka-malapit kay 0. Si 0 ay walang sign. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Nasa gitna siya, neutral siya. Positive number starts with 1. 1 is the smallest positive number. This is the smallest natural number. Ang mga negative numbers ay opposites or kabaliktaran ng mga natural numbers, ng mga positive numbers. Kaya kung 1 ang pinakamaliit na natural number, ang pinakamalaki naman ngayon na negative integer ay negative 1. Because this is the integer closest to 0 on a number line. While ang smallest negative integer naman ay hindi natin ma-identify because the list goes on indefinitely. Balik tayo sa Venn diagram of real number system. We have learned that integers are made up of all natural numbers. Lahat ng mga positive numbers ay mga integers. At lahat ng whole numbers, these are positive numbers with 0. Lahat yun ay kasali sa integers. So, for example, ng integers, we can have 0. Since 0 is one of the whole numbers, parte ang whole numbers and natural numbers ng mga integers. Kaya ang 0 ay isang integer din. Siyempre, kasama din ang 1 and 2 and all other positive numbers, including their opposites, yung kabaliktaran ng positive numbers, which are the negative integers. We have negative 1, negative 2, and so on. Kaya naman sa integers, ito ay pinagsamang mga positive numbers na lahat natural numbers with 0 kasama sa whole numbers at mga opposites ng mga positive numbers which are negative numbers. Lahat yon ay bumubuo sa integers. After ng integers, let's go to the next subset of real numbers, the rational numbers. Rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed as a quotient of two integers a over b, provided that b is not equal to 0. But in summary, rational numbers consist of all these numbers. Rational numbers ay binubuo ng mga natural numbers, the positive numbers, and 0. Binubuo rin ito ng mga negative numbers, integers, pati na rin ang mga non-integer rational numbers. Every number under integers ay whole numbers. Buo lang sila. It's either they're positive or negative or 0. Pero buo silang lahat. The non-integer rational numbers are different from integers. Fractions and decimals are non-integer rational numbers. Speaking of decimals, All terminating and repeating decimals are rational numbers, repeating or recurring decimals. When we say terminating decimals, these are decimals that have a finite number of decimal places after the decimal point. Example, 0.5. 5 lamang yung number after ng decimal point. Wala nang kasunod. Terminating, natatapos. Repeating or recurring decimals naman, example ay 0.2222 with ellipsis, which means that these decimals continues indefinitely. At yung nakuha nating pattern ay puro 2 lamang yung kanyang tinutuloy-tuloy. For these decimals na repeating siya, although hindi siya terminating, non-terminating siya, ngunit ang kanyang recurring decimal naman ay paulit-ulit lamang na number, or kung may makukuha tayong pattern, pwede natin siyang i-convert into a fraction. So long as these decimals can be converted into a fraction into this form, quotient of two integers a over b, where b will not be equal to 0. Aside from fractions and decimals, which are rational numbers, non-integer rational numbers sila, we also have square roots. All the perfect square roots are rational numbers. When we say that a square root is perfect, it means that it has an exact value. Say for example, square root of 49. Its value is 7. Kasi 7 times 7 is equal to 49. We know that 7 is an exact value. Kaya naman, ito ay perfect square. Therefore, square root of 49 is a rational number. But just like decimals, not all square roots are rational numbers. Merong iba na hindi sila rational. Going back to our Venn diagram of real numbers, kaya ganito ang itsura ng ating Venn diagram for rational numbers. Lahat ng mga ito, itong tatlong ito ay mga subsets of rational numbers. Kaya naman, if we are to give examples of rational numbers, any number under natural number, whole number, and integers ay lahat rational numbers. Aside from integers, rational numbers also include non-integers such as fractions. So, ang 1/3 ay isang example ng non-integer na rational number, meaning hindi siya buo. Pwede ring decimal. 0.5 is an example of a terminating decimal, natatapos. And 0.1919 with ellipsis is an example of non-terminating but recurring decimal. So long as the decimal can be converted into a fraction form, these are rational numbers. Aside from all fractions and some decimals, some square roots are also rational numbers. So long as these square roots have an exact value, basta sila ay mga perfect squares. These are rational numbers. Kaya ito ang kabuuan ng rational numbers. Ang kabaliktaran nito ay ang mga irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are also real numbers. This is the fifth subset of real numbers. Irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be expressed as a quotient of two integers a over b. This is the total opposite of rational numbers. All non-terminating and non-repeating decimals are irrational numbers. Kung kanina, all terminating and recurring decimals or repeating decimals are rational numbers, yung kabaliktaran nito, kapag ang isang decimal ay hindi natatapos, non-terminating at non-repeating siya, meaning ang kanyang mga numbers na tuloy-tuloy at hindi natatapos kasi non-terminating, ay mga numbers na walang pattern tayong makuha, iba-iba yung numbers, walang regular interval, hindi natin siya mako-convert into a fraction. Therefore, it is regarded as an irrational number. Non-perfect square roots are also irrational numbers. Kung ang isang square root ay walang exact value, kapag ating kinuha yung value niya ay non-terminating and non-repeating decimal, this is a non-perfect square root. At hindi siya rational. They are irrational numbers. Example nito ay square root of 17. Also, mathematical constants such as the pi, this is the symbol for pi, whose exact values cannot be expressed as either terminating or repeating decimals are irrational numbers. Marami tayong mga constants sa math. One example is the pi. This symbol is usually used in circles. These mathematical constants, ng kanilang mga value ay non-terminating and non-repeating, ay hindi natin may co-convert into a fraction. Kaya sila ay irrational numbers. Going back to the Venn diagram of real numbers, these are some of the example of irrational numbers. Kung ang square root of 49 ay rational number dahil siya ay may exact value na 7, ang square root of 50 naman ay isang irrational number. Wala siyang exact value, hindi siya perfect square. Ang kanyang value ay non-terminating and non-repeating decimal. Aside from that, all non-repeating and non-terminating decimals are also irrational numbers, just like this. Wala tayong makukuhang pattern, hindi natin alam kung paano natin siya i-convert into a fraction. And syempre, some mathematical constants such as pi. This is the symbol for pi. We'll learn more about pi kapag tayo ay pumunta na sa lesson natin about circles under geometry. And this is the Venn diagram of real number system. These numbers make up the real number system. Real numbers are mainly divided into two. It's either rational siya or irrational siya. Under rational numbers, we have natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers. And also some non-integers, rational numbers. Lahat ng mga numbers na hindi rational ay irrational numbers. From Venn diagram of real number system, ito yung ating summary ng subsets of real numbers. Real numbers yung nasa pinakataas. This is divided into two. It's either siya irrational or irrational. Rational numbers include all natural numbers, positive numbers. Pag dinagdagan natin ng zero, whole numbers na yon, lahat ng whole numbers ay rational numbers din. Pag ang whole numbers naman ay dinagdagan natin ng negative numbers, integers na yon, rational number din ang lahat ng integers. Aside from integers, meron din tayong mga non-integer na rational numbers. Ang example ay lahat ng fraction. All fractions are rational numbers so long as their denominator is not zero. Aside from that, lahat din ng decimals na terminating and repeating, basta na-convert into a fraction, siya ay rational number. Pati na rin ang mga square root na perfect squares na may exact value, rational number sila. And anything that is not rational, lahat ng kabaliktaran ng rational number, hindi mako-convert into A over B, hindi siya magiging fraction. Sila ay mga irrational numbers. All real numbers can be found on the number line. Lahat ng real numbers, mapa-rational or irrational, ay pwede nating i-plot sa number line. Lahat ito ay makikita natin sa number line. Arranging real numbers in increasing and decreasing order. Let's have an activity. Arrange the following real numbers in increasing order. When we say increasing order, we will be arranging the numbers from least to the greatest value. Ito yung ating mga real numbers. We have 6. We have negative 4, 5.8, negative 1/2, square root of 50, 4 2/5, and square root of 36. All these are real numbers. Negative 4 is an integer. 5.8 is a decimal. This is a non-integer rational number. Negative 1/2, this is a fraction. 4 2/5 is a mixed fraction. This is a combination of a whole number and a fraction. Square root of 50 and square root of 36 can either be rational or irrational depending on their values. Kaya naman, let's start arranging these real numbers in increasing order. The first step that we need to do before we can arrange real numbers is to express all the given real numbers in similar form before arranging them. When we say similar form, it actually depends kung gusto natin yung kanilang itsura ay integers, pwede rin namang decimal numbers. Let's start with negative 4. Negative 4 is an integer already. So, hindi na natin siya kailangan pang i-convert into other form. Next is 5.8. Since ito ay decimal na, hindi na natin siya kailangan pang i-convert sa iba pang form. Okay na yung 5.8. Next, negative 1/2. It is a negative fraction. We need to convert it to its decimal form. Ang negative 1/2 when converted into a decimal number ay negative 0.50. Next, square root of 50. Kailangan natin kunin ang value ni square root of 50. At iyon ay approximately 7.07. 7.07 is rounded off to its nearest hundreds. Dalawa lang yung kanyang decimal place after the decimal point, hanggang hundreds lang. 4 2/5 is a mixed fraction. Kailangan muna natin siyang i-convert into its improper fraction form. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2, kaya 22 yung ating numerator. Then, copy the denominator. And then, once siya ay fraction na, pwede na natin siyang gawing decimal. Ang mga fractions, kapag kino-convert natin into a decimal, except mixed fraction na kailangan munang gawing improper ay, i-divide lang natin ang numerator sa denominator. At ang result ay 4.40. Because 22 divided by 5 is 4.40. Last, square root of 36. This is a perfect square. Ang kanyang value ay 6. Dahil 6 times 6 is 36. Mga bata, tandaan na pag tayo ay mag-a-arrange ng real numbers in increasing order, make sure na uunahin natin yung mga negative dahil mas maliit ang value ng mga negative real numbers compared to the positive ones. Between negative 4 and negative 0.50, sino kaya ang mas maliit sa kanila? This is an example of a number line. Nasa gitna si 0, siya yung origin. Lahat ng nasa kanan ni 0 ay positive, lahat naman ng nasa kaliwa niya ay negative. Kanina nabanggit natin na ang pinakamalaki na negative integer ay negative 1 dahil ito yung closest to 0. Yun ang lagi nating tatandaan for negative numbers. Mas malapit siya kay 0, mas malaki ang kanyang value. Dito naman sa mga positive numbers, mas malapit sila kay 0, mas maliit ang kanilang value. Since positive numbers and negative numbers are total opposites. Kaya dito kay negative 4 and negative 0.50, sa kanilang dalawa, ang mas malapit kay 0 ay si negative 0.50. Kaya, mas malaki siya kaysa kay negative 4. Therefore, ang least natin dito na real number ay negative 4. Siya yung least value natin. Siya ang uunahin natin dito. Sumunod kay negative 4 ay si negative 1/2. Dahil negative 1/2 is equivalent to negative 0.50. After negative 1/2, wala na tayong negatives. Punta na tayo ngayon sa mga positive. Sino yung pinakamaliit sa kanilang apat? Ang pinakamaliit sa kanilang apat ay si 4 and 2/5 dahil ang kanyang value ay positive 4.40. Next to 4 and 2/5 ay si 5.8. Sumunod kay 5.8 ay si square root of 36 dahil ang value ni square root of 36 ay 6 lamang. Among these 6 real numbers, ang ating greatest number ay si square root of 50 dahil ang kanyang approximate value ay 7.07 which is a positive. Ganyan natin mga bata kung paano inaayos ang real numbers into increasing order. What if we will be arranging the same real numbers, these 6, in decreasing order naman? When we say decreasing order, this is the way of arranging the numbers from greatest to least value. Kabaliktaran ng decreasing order ng increasing order. Kung increasing, nagsisimula tayo sa maliit palaki, ang decreasing order naman ay nagsisimula sa malaki paliit. Kaya naman, kapag inayos natin itong 6 na real numbers na ito into decreasing order, mauuna naman yung pinakamalaki kasi ang decreasing ay malaki paliit. Kanina, nabanggit natin na ang may pinakamalaking value sa 6 na real numbers na ito ay si square root of 50 dahil ang kanyang approximate value ay positive 7.07. Kaya siya ang una natin ilalagay dito, from greatest to least. Sumunod sa kanya ay si square root of 36 dahil ito ay may value na positive 6. Sumunod si 5.8, Siya kasi 4 and 2/5 na may value na 4.40. Saka na natin ngayon isusunod si negative 1/2. Dahil siya ay may value na negative 0.50. Least natin o ang pinakahuli natin ay si negative 4 dahil negative 4 ang may pinakamalit na value sa kanilang anim. Kanya natin mga bata kung paano nga ayusin ang real numbers into their decreasing order. Word problem. 4 students divide the pizza that they bought after class. Represent the part that could be received by each member using real number. Ito yung 4 na bata, sila ay bibili ng pizza. Hahatiin daw nila yung pizza sa kanilang 4 equally. Anong real number ang makakapag-represent dito sa scenario na ito? Yun ay isang fraction. 1/4 means that one pizza, isang buong pizza ay hahatiin equally into 4. And each of the students will take 1 out of the 4 pizza cuts, kaya 1/4. Therefore, each member will receive 1 part of the whole pizza which has been divided into 4. Another word problem. There are 60 students in a class. 3/5 of them are girls. How many girls are there and how many boys are there? Let's use an illustration to help us visualize on how to solve this word problem. Meron tayo ditong 5 blocks dahil 5 yung ating denominator. Ang total natin na 60 students ay hahatiin natin into 5 dahil ang ating denominator ay 5. And then 3/5, 3 out of 5 ay girls. Kaya naman, ang natitirang 2/5 ay boys. Para ating masolve ang word problem na ito, ay uunahin muna nating alamin kung ano ba yung value ng kada block na ito since hinati yung 60 sa 5. Yung isang block na ito ay pwede nating consider as 1/5. So, ito ay 5 1/5. 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5, tatlong 1/5 ay 3/5. Dalawang 1/5 ay 2/5. 3/5 plus 2/5 ay 5/5. 5/5, isang buo, representing the total number of 60 students. Una natin nga alamin ay, what is the value of 1/5? Ilan ba yung value nitong isang block na ito? 1/5 of 60 is 12. Paano natin nakuha yung 12 as our answer? We need to multiply 1/5 to 60. 60, when converted into a fraction, meron siyang invisible na 1 sa ilalim niya, acting as its denominator. Kaya multiply natin sila as is. 1 times 60 is 60, 5 times 1 is 5. Ang sagot natin pag minultiply natin ang 1/5 at ang 60 ay 60/5. That is also 60 divided by 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Kaya naman, 1/5 of 60 is 12. Each block includes 12 students. Unahin natin ngayon yung girls. 3/5. Ang 3/5 tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina ay tatlong 1/5. So ito ay tulad din ng pag-a-add ng tatlong 12. Ito yung parte ng girls, 3/5. Or pwede rin na 3 times 12. Because 3 times 12 is 36. 3/5 of 60 is 36. Paano naman nakuha ito? Multiply din natin. 3/5 times 60. 3 times 60 is 180. 5 times 1 is 5. 180 divided by 5 is 36. Therefore, we can say that there are 36 girls. Out of 60 students in a class, 36 of them are girls. Punta naman tayo sa boys, 2/5. Ang 2/5 ay dalawang 1/5. So, pwede natin gawin na ito ay 12 plus 12. Or pwede rin na 2 times 12 which is 24. Paano nakuha ang 24? 2/5 of 60 is 24. Multiply natin 2/5 and 60. 2 times 60 is 120. 5 times 1 is 5. 120 divided by 5 is equal to 24. Therefore, there are 24 boys. Out of the 60 students in a class, 24 of them are boys. 3/5 plus 2/5 is equal to 5/5 or 5/5, isang buo. Kaya naman, 36 girls plus 24 boys ay equal to 60 students in all. Another word problem? Angie cleans 1/4 of the yard. Alex cleans 1/3 of the remaining. What fraction of the yard is left unclean? Kaya naman ito si Angie at si Alex, so naglilinis sila ng kanilang yard. Mag-focus muna tayo sa parte ng yard na nilinis ni Angie. Angie cleans 1/4 of the yard. Using an illustration to help us visualize on how to solve this word problem, out of 4, kasi 4 ang ating denominator, 1/4 ay nilinis na ni Angie. The remaining is 3/4. Ito yung hindi pa nalilinis ni Angie. Out of the remaining 3/4 na hindi pa nalilinis ni Angie, si Alex ay tumulong na maglinis din. Alex cleans 1/3. Ito yung ating illustration. Nahati sa 3 dahil 3 yung ating denominator. 1/3 ay nilinis ni Alex. Therefore, may natitira pang 1/3. Paano natin ngayon malalaman kung ilang parte ng 3/4 ang nalinis ni Alex? We need to get 1/3 of 3/4. Dahil 1/3 yung nilinis ni Alex at ang natitira ay 3/4. We need to multiply them together. 1/3 multiplied to 3/4 is equal to 3/12. Reduced into its simplest form, 1/4. Paano nga ba natin nakuha yung 1/4? Kinuha natin yung GCF ng 3 and 12. And then we divide the GCF, which is 3, to both the numerator and the denominator. Kaya tayo may 1/4. Therefore, Alex cleaned 1/4 of the remaining uncleaned yard. Out of 3/4, ang nilinis daw ni Alex doon ay 1/4. Kaya yung unclean part of the yard ay 3/4 minus 1/4. 3/4, ito yung naiwan pa na hindi nalilinis ni Angie. 1/4, kaya tayo nag-subtract kasi yung 1/4 ay nilinis na ni Alex. Therefore, may natitira pang 2/4. Or, reduced to its simplest form, ang 2/4 ay magiging 1/2. Therefore, 1/4 plus 1/4, 1/4 na lininis ni Angie at 1/4 na lininis ni Alex ay magiging 2/4 or 1/2 din. 1/2 of the yard is already clean. Ito yung nalinis na nilang dalawa. Kaya naman, 1/2 of the yard is left unclean. Since ang tinatanong dito ay kung ilang parte nung yard ang hindi nalinis. Another word problem. One day in Baguio, the temperature went from -3 degrees Celsius to 9 degrees Celsius. What is the change in temperature? Aalamin natin yung pagbabago nung temperature. Ang una nating temperature ay -3 degrees Celsius at yung pangalawa ay 9 degrees Celsius. Aalamin lang natin yung pagbabago ng temperature kaya magsusubtract tayo. 9 degrees Celsius ang ating second temperature. Isasubtract lamang natin o ibabawas natin yung ating first temperature which is -3. Bakit naging +12 ang sagot? Yun ay dahil ang rules natin for subtracting integers ay, first, we need to change the sign of the subtrahend. Between 9 and -3, ang ating subtrahend ay -3. Ang -3 ay yung number na ibinabawas mula sa isang number. Ang 9 ay isang minuend, siya yung binabawasan. Kaya si subtrahend na -3 ay gagawin nating +3. Next, pag tayo ay nakapag-change na ng sign ng subtrahend, nabaliktad natin yung sign niya, it's time for us to proceed to the rules of addition. Kaya from minus, magiging plus na ito. Therefore, meron na tayong 9 plus +3. To add integers with common signs, add them together and copy their common sign. Since itong dalawa ay pareho ng positive, 9 plus 3 is 12. Ang 12 ay positive din dahil pareho ng positive yung ating ina-add. Therefore, the change in temperature in Baguio is 12 degrees Celsius. Ilang mga paalala, these are the common phrases that we use to represent real numbers. These are some of the phrases that we use to refer to addition or positive integers. We have above 0 because all integers larger than 0 are positive numbers. A gain of, it's an addition na dagdagan. An additional of, ascend, sabihin aakyat, tataas. Similar to ascends ay went up, tataas. So long as aakyat, tataas, all these refers to addition or positive integers. On the other hand, nakabaliktaran nito ay phrases that refers to deduction or negative integers below 0. Because any number below 0, smaller than 0 are all negative numbers. A drop off, a deduction of, nabawasan. Descends, went down, bumaba. Lahat yan ay deduction or negative integers din. And these are phrases that refers to a part of a whole. Percent off, pesos off, or divided into. And that's it for our video for today, mga bata. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ang Teacher Mo sa Math, for more grade 7 contents. I will really appreciate it if you'd also hit the like button, and please share this video para mas marami pa akong grade 7 na mga bata ang maabot at maturuan. Dahil ako si Ma'am Regine, ang Teacher Mo sa Math.